Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Hanafuda with Alton. I'm so glad you're here today. Today's reading is one that I have been really looking forward to, and it is all about the story of your rebirth. So for those of you that have been praying or working towards making some kind of huge transformation in your life, this reading is for you. We're going to take a look at what your life is going to look like after your rebirth, what this new version, better version of yourself is going to be like, and guidance from spirit about how you can ease into this new chapter of your life. So it's a super juicy and exciting reading, and I can't wait to jump into it. But before we do that, I just want to give a very quick overview of the Hanafuda cards, which are these cards that I'm using in the reading. So the Hanafuda are of Japanese origin, and Hana means flower, Fuda means card in Japanese, so the literal translation for Hanafuda is flower cards. And yeah, they're called the flower cards because there are many depictions of flowers and also trees and grasses, animals even on the cards, and the cards bring forward such a beautiful connection to nature, and that's why I love working with them, and I really am excited to share that with you on this channel as well. So now that we have that out of the way, let us jump straight into our reading. And we have 4 piles for you to choose from for today. So you can pick one of the 4 piles, one or more, if you feel called, of the 4 piles to dive into the story of your rebirth. And I'm going to introduce each of the cards and crystals for you. And don't worry too much about what the cards mean just yet. We'll dive all into that into the reading. So the very first one, pile number 1, we have the Gaji card, as well as a Kyanite crystal. In pile number 2, we have Cherry Blossom and the Tanzaku card, as well as a Serpentine crystal. Pile number 3, we have the Pine with Cream card, as well as Fossilized Wood. And in pile number 4, we have the Cherry Blossom and the Curtain card, as well as an Amethyst. So feel free to pause the video here if you like, if you need more time to connect with the cards and crystals. And for those of you that are ready, I will see you at your reading. Hello, pile number 1, and welcome to the story of your rebirth. So we're going to start off the first part of the reading with our Hanafuda cards, and I'm going to draw some cards to represent your current energy, and then we're also going to take a look at some cards that will represent your energy after your rebirth. But before we do that, I want to just talk about this amazing card that you drew at the start of the reading, and this is the Gaji card. It's otherwise known as the lightning card because, as you can see, there's this lightning just striking through the card. There is a tornado spinning through. It's causing destruction. There is a claw of a creature that we don't know what it is. So there's an element of mystery and quite a interesting just looking image of this card that's going on. And because there is destruction through the card, the Gaji card itself often represents transformation. It represents that change, and sometimes transformation can mean that things in our life start to get disrupted. It falls apart. There are things that are no longer working and serving us that just cannot stay in our lives anymore. We know that something needs to move and shift in order for us to become a new version of ourselves. And so I'm really seeing that for your pal, a large part, or a significant part at least, of your transformation involves a lot of this letting go process of letting go of the things that don't serve you anymore. And I think this word gets thrown around a lot, like what doesn't serve me goes and that kind of thing. And honestly, it's easier said than done, because identifying exactly what doesn't serve us is, I think, part of the learning. There's an element of mystery there, because what doesn't serve us, like if we are attached to a lot of the things in our lives, or if we're not really able to see what exactly is the problem, it's hard to let go. So it's the discernment here about what doesn't serve us. And I think there's a lot of learning and a lot of growth coming through for you in really identifying and learning like what doesn't serve you. And a large part of that transformation is just about catalyzing this huge change in the form of letting go, such that you create space in your life to invite in new things. So, before we go any further, let us look at our Hanafuda cards here, and I'm gonna shuffle them on camera to see what is your current energy first of all. And we're going to just shuffle the cards, and I'm gonna cut the deck. And we're gonna draw 2 cards for your current energy. The first card is Peony in reverse. Let me show you what it looks like upright. And then we have Cherry Blossom in reverse as well. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Underneath the deck is, ooh, Chrysanthemum. Okay, so this is your current energy, guys. Now, what I'm seeing here is, first of all, some of you may actually be feeling lack in some way. Either you're feeling a lack in your finances, a lack in your relationships, a lack in certain aspect of your life, and that lack mentality may really be making you feel very suffocated in a way. It feels extremely tight around you. It's like every day you're living with the pressure of the fact that there is this lack around you. And the peony is a flower it represents prosperity and abundance and expression. It's a flower that just blooms as big and as beautiful as it wants, and it doesn't care about what other people thinks about it. It just blooms in its rightful size and right, and there's an element here of you guys feeling like you can't fully bloom for some reason, and you're not able to fully realize the potential of what you're feeling inside of you. It's like you can feel your power within you, but for some reason, something is just not expressing outside of you. And I think that's kind of frustrating for you at the moment. We also have the Cherry Blossom card in reverse. And just to let you know, I'm filming this reading in the month of March. So this card, the Cherry Blossom, actually corresponds to the month of March. So there's sometimes synchronicity as well. Regardless of when you watch this reading, you may be watching it like way outside of March, like, December or whatever, but doesn't matter. I'm still seeing that there's some kind of time synchronicity here. Like, you are in divine timing. This is the time and the moment that you are in that is in alignment with what you need right now. So there's that message coming through for all of you. And the cherry blossom is a flower that has a very short bloom time. So it represents letting go. It represents impermanence. It represents change. And with this card in reverse, the cherry blossom in reverse, is telling me that there is some kind of resistance to change at the moment for you guys. And it may have to do with the lack that you're feeling. So you may be thinking like, because of this lack, I'm not able to do these things. I'm not able to go after my heart's desires to the fullest. And, that's understandable. That is understandable. And yet, at the same time, that creates a kind of limitation around you where you're not feeling fully empowered to take the steps forward. It's like you gotta count every single move that you make just in case, you miscalculate and you spend too much resources, or you run out of money, or, you end up feeling like you're alone somewhere. It's like constantly having that pressure there. So that feels like your energy now. We also have the card of the chrysanthemum and the sake cup underneath the deck. And this particular card relates to the essence of our being. The chrysanthemum is a flower that connects us to our DNA, our lineage, our family. It connects us to our innate being, who we were born as. Not all of the things that we picked up from society, all of the good and the bad, but it's just coming back down to, stripping away everything, just coming back down to the essence of our being. And I feel that this is the spark inside of you that you are so ready to bring it out. You're so ready for this part of yourself to shine. And it's like you can see it, you can feel it. It's just, well, why is it not coming out? That is the feeling here. So I think you guys are doing, actually, you are kind of trying a lot. I feel that there's an energy of trying here. Like I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. But I can't seem to get ahead, regardless of what it is that you are working on right now. So let us take a look. What's going to happen in your rebirth, your energy after your rebirth? So let's see here. Ooh. And we cut the deck. So the very first card of your rebirth is, ooh, we have the Suzuki grass card in reverse. Okay. And then, wow, we have the bush clover card in reverse as well. And underneath the deck, we have another bush clover card, this time in the upright position. Okay. Okay. So the transformation that's happening for you guys is, first of all, boundaries. And it's interesting that we have the card in reverse here, because I feel that your future self is coming in and saying that, you know, this is the energy that you're trying to bring through. Hey, you know, look at this. This is the blockage that you're feeling. This is why you feel so stuck. And so they're also pointing out to you some of the areas that you can transform already at this point in time. So the first one is boundaries. And the Suzuki grass, otherwise known as pampas grass or silver grass, is a, you know, it's like a bushy kind of grass, and it is very wispy looking, very thin and flexible. But when you put a field of Suzuki grass together, they just create this boundary, and you can't see past the field of Suzuki grass. And it reminds us and teaches us about the importance of setting healthy boundaries that are both firm but flexible. You know, it's firm in that we stand firm on our ground, and yet it's also flexible because we're not building up a wall such that nothing can come in and nothing can go out. And I think right now, you may sort of toggle between two sides of boundaries, where it's either you have your walls up always and you're always on guard, or you don't have your walls up at all and people just come in and trample over your needs and your sort of your space. And this has got to do with worth as well. It has it relates to our self-worth, whether or not you feel worthy of this, your dreams, of your ideal self, of your ideal life, and of the kind of relationships that you want in your life. So this is something that is going to change in your new state of rebirth, where you no longer allow people to just come in and out of your life and take things as they please. You know how to state your boundaries, you know how to state what you need, and you get what you need, you get what you want, because you know how to voice it out and you know how to take action on it. You know, I think at this point in your life, you may be kind of like, I'm sensing a little bit of the word I'm hearing is timid. There's a little bit of that timid energy where we don't feel the boldness to step forward, to just claim what we want. And that is the thing that's holding us back. There's some kind of fear about what's going to happen if I step outside of this comfort zone, in that sense that I have built for myself. What's going to happen if I step into this outside world? And it feels like the perception that I'm getting is like as though you're looking at the outside world and thinking that it's very dangerous. You know, the outside world has a lot of risks and it's going to create a lot of problems and things like that. And this card here is saying that you are learning that you are worth the kind of life that you want, and you boldly step forward to claim it. Now, the other thing here is I'm also seeing a really beautiful balance of feminine energy as well, because the bush clover card talks about deep relaxation. So I think there is a element of stress in your life right now, and you're constantly maybe spinning your wheels and working and feeling stressed out by the circumstances in your life. And you are learning in your rebirth your rebirth self knows how to relax. It knows, he or she knows how to sit back and attract. You know, you know how to go out there and state your needs, boldly state your claims, and you also know how to sit back and sink into your feminine energy and just fully allow and attract things into your life. And it's going to be so much more easy to manifest what you want to manifest into your life. And that's why we also have the bush clover card in reverse, which really solidifies that relaxation energy where it's like, ooh, I don't have to work so hard for everything in my life. I can actually enjoy. I can allow myself to be pampered, allow other people to pamper me, and allow my environment to take care of me. You know, I have the money and I can take care of myself. I have resources that I can put towards nourishing myself. I have a job that I love and it feeds me. It's not just constantly me giving and giving and giving until there's nothing left. It's you receiving so much from everything that you put out into the world as well. Okay, so this is what we're seeing for your rebirth story. So very interesting and cool for you guys, and definitely a lot of learning that's taking place. So I am gonna shuffle some of these cards here, and we're gonna get some guidance about your journey onto this rebirth. So all of the oracle cards coming next are just going to give us more guidance about how you can ease into this journey into your rebirth. So let me just cut the deck. And the first card is number 24, wholeness. Number 37, cultivation, is our second card. And underneath the deck, we have number 34, capacity to love. That's so beautiful. So I'm not gonna keep this card out, but just to hold it here so you can see. First of all, wholeness. Spirit is saying that you may feel that your rebirth self is like so much better and so much more has like so much more resources, so much more abundant, financially secure, you know, has the relationships that they want and everything, and you're feeling that lack in who you are right now, and that, you know, you're somehow incomplete. And Spirit wants you to know that no, you are whole. Who you are right now, no matter how many problems you are facing in your life now, no matter how many fires you're fighting, you are still whole. And there is a need to recognize that your worth doesn't change as an individual. You still are worthy regardless of what kind of material or emotional or even mental or physical or spiritual things that you attach to yourself. It doesn't make you more or less worthy. And recognizing that wholeness helps you to feel connected more to your rebirth version of yourself, because now I feel like there's a sense of separation. It's like I can't relate to that person and that life at all, that kind of feeling, and that creates a kind of a distance. And we want to feel connected to the future version of ourselves, the ideal version of ourselves, so that we can ease into it and not have to feel like we are so far away from it. And cultivation here, I think what I'm hearing from this card as I'm looking at it is to enjoy the journey. You know, you are in your cultivation phase right now, and you are in divine timing. You are in the right place at the right time, where yeah, you are in a state of cultivation. And if you are constantly sort of feeling like if you're constantly looking at the destination and counting how far away it is, counting the number of days or how much more money it's going to take to get there or whatever, it puts you in I feel like that's it puts you in a little bit more of a miserable mood, to be very honest with you, because we're constantly counting everything. And part of enjoying the process is just knowing that the work doesn't really change. Like, whatever you're doing now is more or less going to be the same as what you're going to be doing when you reach your rebirth self. Like if your rebirth version of yourself is who you want to be, then you already want to be doing the things that your rebirth version of yourself is already doing. Like the work remains the same. The outcomes can change, circumstances can change, but what you do, the journey, the essence of that journey remains the same. So a great example, for instance, is like if you are a musician, like at the beginning stage of your learning, you may be struggling to make the right sounds, struggling to read the notes, and there's a lot of like that learning curve, but you're still playing the instrument. You're still showing up every day to practice, right? And when you become a master of your instrument, you are performing in front of thousands of people, hundreds and thousands of people. You are really just picking up these pieces and playing at a level of mastery that is so fast and so much more, with so much more ease than your beginner self. And yet what remains the same is that you still come up to the practice room to practice. That kind of work remains the same, and yet though the circumstances change, the essence of your being doesn't. And of course, you can choose at some point to not be a musician. Your life path may change. I mean, your career path may change, but as long as you continue wanting to walk this path, the cultivation of your work is what stays constant. And I think maybe thinking of it this way allows you to enjoy the process more, because you know that even in your rebirth version of yourself, you want to remain true to your craft, and that passion for it doesn't die. So, that's why I think we also have number 37, capacity to love your life as it is now, and to not see that it's any different really from the life that you want to lead. I think sometimes, we obviously there are going to be differences. Obviously, physically there's going to be huge changes. But if we constantly see the separation, we will never really feel complete, and we're just going to sink deeper and deeper into the lack. But when we can see that we are already thriving, and we are on the journey, the same journey that our ideal self is going to be on anyways, you may find that there's joy in being in this place and this time of your life. Okay, so that's what we're seeing here. Now, let us draw a couple of other cards for you. I'm gonna pick from this deck here. And let's see. Let's just shuffle it here. And I'm gonna cut the deck. So the next card you have is number 33, integration. And I just feel like taking one card from this deck. Underneath the deck, we have past, present, and future. Integrating your past, present, and future. Pile number 1. Yeah. It's not separated. It's the same. Like, I can understand your frustration, because honestly, I have been there. I'm not going to pretend that I am immune to this, because I'm definitely not immune to it. But when we see the separation of our dreams and who we are now, it creates an illusion that we're not there yet, that we're not our dreams. But to achieve your dreams, you have to feel connected to it. You have to be somehow in a close, intimate relationship with your dreams, rather than feeling that, oh my God, it's this huge, unattainable goal and I'm never going to get there. Or even if I do, it's going to take me like years and years and years, and building up this story. And who knows if you're going to take 10 years to get there, or if you're going to get there tomorrow. Like, who knows? That is a part of the future that we cannot, we don't have full visibility and control over, so we can try to create some to do some readings, of course, to get sense of timing and things like that. And I think that's what a lot of us try to do. But at the end of the day, surrendering to the unknown and surrendering to divine timing, surrendering to source, is part and parcel of the journey. so that so that we can focus on enjoying the journey rather than resenting the journey and pining for the future. When we do that, it becomes outside of us. Again, it boils back down to that separation message there. So let us take a look at the next deck here. What other guidance is coming through? Ooh, ooh, ooh. For pile number 1, there was a card that fell. Let's keep shuffling here. And I'm gonna cut the deck. So we have Candle Quartz and Bleeding Heart. Show yourself. Vulnerability, self-worth, and feminine healing. Oh boy. We were talking about that, about your self-worth and about embracing the feminine aspects of manifestation in the Bush Clover card there. So I think to ease into your rebirth version of yourself, there's something about showing yourself, like being authentic and being vulnerable. Maybe a part of your goal and your dream is to show up authentically. Maybe you want to do social media. Maybe you want to perform in front of other people. Maybe that's why this music example came up. But maybe there's a part of you that wants to be in front of other people. That is your ideal version of your future. And you need to start showing who you are now. If you're gonna wait until you are like perfect before you show up at any time, perfection in that level doesn't exist. And there is this one content creator that I was watching on Instagram, and he makes a really good point. He was saying that I can't remember his handle. I think it's like Mean O or something like that. But he was talking about how if you want to be a content creator, you gotta embrace the cringe, and you gotta embrace being a yapper, just kind of like talking away. And yeah, because that is kind of what content creators do, I guess. You talk to your audience, you kind of go off on some kind of a point, and you don't know if anybody cares about the point that you're talking about, but you just gotta do what you gotta do, right? And it could be cringe, but if we are like curating, or rather censoring ourselves all the time and trying to show up as this idealized perfect version, then your audience can tell that that's not really you. There's people can tell that, hey, there's something about this that doesn't feel fully authentic, and they're not going to follow your content, because what is the real you? People want to see the real you. So you got to show yourself even in the imperfect state that you're in, like whatever it is. It's okay to show yourself, and it's safe. Okay, so the other card we have is Gold and Apple Rewriting. Queen quotes her story, healing distortion. There's a lot of this feminine energy coming in with the Queen quotes her story. And rewriting for me is about rewriting your story. I think you have been telling yourself a story where you are the loser in your story. You are the beaten down, victimized version of yourself. And Spirit is saying that we need to let go of that version of ourselves. We need to let go of the belief that we are not going to succeed, or that success belongs to other people and it doesn't belong to us. We need to find our crown, our own sense of power and uniqueness in our own story. Okay, and then underneath the deck, we have Let Go. Pearl and Larima, let go, surrender, release patterns and triggers, Pleiades. So yeah, letting go is a huge theme for your pal. It's all about letting go of the fear, the doubts, letting go of the low self-worth kind of emotions, and embracing the fact that you are worthy of your goals, and your goals want you as much as you want them. So go after it, okay? Pile number 1. So let us get a couple more cards for you here. How else can you ease into this new version of yourself? We have, wow, a new start is coming, new moon. Okay, pile number 1. I think this is so encouraging to see because your new self, your rebirth moment, this new moon is coming. So hold fast to the faith, keep going, keep doing, show up authentically. Start now. If you've not started, start. Start doing the things that you've always been wanting to do, but you've been holding back on. The time is now, pile number one. Yeah, we were saying this is divine timing now. So this is your moment, pile number one. All right. Okay. I mean, this card. Do I need to say more? You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. This card does not need further explanation. Underneath the deck, your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. Ah, that is so freaking beautiful. I love that because yeah, we were feeling that you were working, you're someone who has been working very hard and your hard work is paying off. Your new start is coming and you are good enough. You have been telling yourself the story that you are not worthy and you're still not there. You're not pretty enough. You're not knowledgeable enough. You're not financially stable enough. Your house doesn't look good. Your business, your office, your shop doesn't look good. Like blah, 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 all those things. But spirit, your guides are coming in to say that you're good enough. And again, this worth inside of you doesn't come from any of the material things that you show up with. It is an inherent worth that is deep within you, that is already good enough, and that doesn't change regardless of how successful you are. Regardless of how successful you are, lol. I can't believe I just said that, but yeah, you know, even if you have like $1 million in your bank account, does that make you more worthy than the version of you right now? Let's say if, you know, right now you're living paycheck to paycheck. Does the $1 million version of you not, does it kind of like, is it more worthy? If you were earning $1 million a year, let's say, are you going to look down on the version of you right now who's working so hard and fighting to keep their dreams alive and living paycheck to paycheck but making it work nonetheless? Are you going to look down on this version of yourself? I don't think so. You can find the worth in you right now, and there's so many qualities in you that are worth celebrating. Pile number one. Okay, so the final messages that we have for your group, we're going to take a look at some of these butterfly affirmation cards to see what are some affirmations on the journey of your rebirth coming through here. So let us see. We have this beautiful green butterfly, and it says, I make a positive difference in the world, even with my smile and words. Okay, so some of you may be wanting to make some kind of positive impact on the world, and this card is affirming the vision and the purpose that you're feeling in your heart. The next card is this beautiful orange butterfly, and it says, wow, the universe has something very special in store for me. That is so sweet. That is so beautiful. Underneath the deck, we have, I am valuable. Many people are thankful for my presence in their lives. Ooh, pile number one. Okay, you're really trying to make that positive difference, and people are thankful. They're grateful for the work that you do, and your work is valuable. Okay, so pile number one, that is what I see for your reading. Thank you very much for tuning in. I would like to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming through these amazing messages and readings, and I hope to see you guys in a future video. Bye! Hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading about the story of your rebirth. So we're going to start off the first part of the reading with our Hanafuda cards, and I have my deck right here. And we're first going to take a look at your current energy, so where you are feeling and sitting right now. And then we're going to take a look at what happens after your rebirth. What is your energy? What does your future self want to tell you? And before we dive into that, I want to quickly touch on the card that you drew at the start of the reading, which is the cherry blossom with the Tanzaku card. And the Tanzaku is basically the slip of paper you see in the middle of the card. And these cards originate in Japan, if you missed the introduction where I talked about it. And the Tanzaku paper, what people in Japan do is that they would write their wishes on a Tanzaku paper, and then they would hang it up on a bamboo tree to pray for that wish to come true. So first of all, the Tanzaku cards talk about an element of creation, and you may be in this creation phase right now where you are planting seeds, you're putting out the work, but maybe you haven't quite yet seen the full harvest. You've not fully harvested all of the seeds that you've planted. And as well, the cherry blossom is also a flower that has a very short bloom time. So it talks about the impermanence of life, of the importance of staying in the now time, of remembering that a lot of the experiences that we go through are transient. So there's an element of gratitude coming through as well. When we know that everything comes to an end, we learn to appreciate and be grateful to the people and the things, the beings in our lives. And I think there's a part of you now that is very grateful for everything that you're experiencing, all of the ups and the downs. And I think you're in a very you're full of gratitude at the moment. And although you know that there's a different place that you want to be, at the same time you are feeling your heart is still full from all of the seed planting that you've been doing, like that, or in and of itself makes you happy. So that is a little peep into your current energy, but let us take a little bit more cards here to look at what else you're going through right now, and just to give you that energy read. So I'm gonna cut the deck here. And the first card is another Tanzaku card, and this is Tanzaku and the iris. The iris flower. What are the odds? We have yet another Tanzaku card. This is chrysanthemum and Tanzaku. So, pile number 2, you are deep in your creation phase. You're deep in the seed planting, and you are like really out there putting in the work, putting in the hours to make this rebirth happen. You're really putting in a lot of great work out there to transform your life. Wow, okay. Ooh, underneath the deck, we have the Gaji card. Okay, so Gaji is this card here, and there is lightning striking through. It's also known as the lightning card. There's lightning striking through. There's this claw of this creature that we don't know what the creature is. There's a tornado spinning through. There's destruction in this card. And something in your life is falling apart. Things that are no longer serving you are falling apart. And I think you can feel it, and you welcome it to some extent. I'm feeling from your energy, which is like, yeah, come for me. Like, I'm ready for this change. I'm ready for these things to fall apart. I'm so ready, spirit. That's what I'm feeling for your pal. And yeah, because you've been putting in the work, and that makes you feel prepared. It makes you feel prepared for what's to come. This is really beautiful. Now, just to quickly talk about your current energy, what we're seeing here is with the Iris and Tanzaku card, you are really working and being very conscious about making new choices in your life to not repeat old mistakes. And every single step forward you take, it feels like you're making very strategic moves forward, where you're learning as you go. You're not allowing unconscious same patterns to keep taking root in your life. In fact, you have been uprooting and healing from a lot of the patterns, traumas that have been keeping you stuck. And that's why it has allowed you to make very significant strides in your life in the direction that you want to go towards. So that level of awareness and consciousness is really benefiting you as you take those steps forward. And we also have the chrysanthemum and the Tanzaku card. And the chrysanthemum relates to our essence, the essence of our being, who we were born as. It brings us down to the gifts that we were born with, the power that we hold inside of us. And I feel that your power is really beginning to appreciate the power that you have within. And it's not, I think you came from a place where maybe you felt like it was an arrogant thing to do, to even talk about your power, your quote unquote power, and to recognize it. But you've moved past from that kind of feeling to realizing that seeing your power allows you to see other people's power. It allows you to see everybody's unique strengths and innate gifts, and that is what it is about. When you can see your own power, you're more likely to recognize other people's power too. And if you look at it from that perspective, you realize that it's not an arrogant thing to do. It's in fact very essential and important that we simply recognize. It's neutral. It's a neutral recognition that, yeah, this is who I am, and I want to express these gifts in the world. I want to show up as this powerful version of myself and live and breathe my dreams. Yeah, so that is your current energy. A lot of creation and a lot of just putting in the work. Pile number 2. So let us just shuffle out the cards here and see what is the energy of your rebirth. So let me just cut the deck again and we'll take a look. I'm excited. Ooh, the first card is the Paulonia in reverse. And the next card we have for you is Cherry Blossom in reverse. This has happened for pile number 1 as well, where I feel like your future selves are coming in to bring a message. So that's why this reverse energy is coming in. The reversal card sometimes can bring through an energy of like, it's more, something is kind of like, energy is in some way resistant, or there's some kind of stuckness. But I feel that that is your future self telling you like, hey, these are the key elements to your rebirth. So before we talk about that, just quickly look underneath the deck. Ooh, we have bush clover in reverse, which was what pile number 1 got as well, but they got it in the upright position underneath the deck. So there's something similar going on here between pile 1 and pile 2. I'm not sure if you were drawn to pile 1, but first of all, there's a huge message of letting go here. The Paulonia, first of all, is this flowering tree that grows very, very quickly, and because of that, it is a very useful source of wood for making furniture or instruments and things like that. So people would chop down like the Paulonia tree, and then they would plant it again, and it grows very quickly, and then they would use the wood to make various types of household items. And so Paulonia brings a message of alchemization. How can you take one thing and transform it into something else that is useful and brings new life to the same material? And the cherry blossom, as we mentioned, has an element of impermanence and change, and of letting go as well. So there's something, your rebirth version of yourself wants to tell you that there's something in your life that is ready to be let go of, that is ready to be transformed. And we're going to get more messages, but one thing that I'm hearing here for you first is a mindset shift where instead of constantly doing and doing and doing, we learn how to embrace the feminine quality of manifestation, which is shown in the bush clover card. The bush clover is a flower that talks about deep relaxation. And in that relaxed energy of ours, we learn to attract what we want in our lives, which is the feminine principle of manifestation. And we learn to allow things to happen. The masculine side of us is the doing and go-getter part of it. And the feminine side is the one that sits back and allows and attracts and has a more being rather than doing kind of energy. And I'm seeing that you have been trying to work towards this place where you don't have to worry about finances anymore. You don't have to worry about losing things. It's like you're trying to build this foundation in your life, and that's all well and good. And your rebirth version of yourself is saying that where you are right now, begin to embrace this feminine quality, because it's gonna nourish you and allow you to not feel like you are so stressed and burnt out in a way. I don't really think that you guys are burnt out fully, because you're also really enjoying the journey, But there's an element of, you know what, you can enjoy even more. You can enjoy the fruits of your labor. You can start to enjoy the field that you have grown, and just bask in the view that you're seeing, and just be, and I think in that state of being, it's going to give you different perspective about life, and approach things differently. Because in this space of being, where we are just simply holding space for ourselves, we're not trying to do anything, we are kind of in this in-between state. We get insights, we get ahas, and we get guidance from spirit. I hope this makes sense. It's like, I'm just, you're just kind of like sitting with the unknown and the uncertainty almost, and being comfortable in that state of being. And from there, tapping into your power, tapping into the void inside of you, and really feeling into the strength of the feminine quality. And that brings forth some powerful insights for you. Okay, so that was a message from your rebirth version of yourself. So let us just take a look at our oracle cards next, and these cards are going to tell us some give us more guidance about how you can ease into your rebirth version, how you can really walk this story of your rebirth. So let me just shuffle the cards and cut the deck here. The first card is number 49, relaxation. I kind of feel like you guys are like, can I really relax now? Like, I haven't gotten there yet. Like, is it okay for me to be relaxing? That's a really great question. And I'm curious to see what cards we get next, to really understand why this relaxation is important for you. The next card is guidance, number 33. Yeah. In your relaxed state, you're welcoming guidance. Because think about it, when we're constantly doing and stressing out over everything in our lives, it's hard to have a moment of respite, and to kind of like tap into our spiritual instincts, and to listen to the guidance from spirit and source, our guides, our angels. It's when we are in that relaxed state, and you may want to enter into meditative state sometimes. But yeah, just being relaxed allows us to tap into that guidance, and that somehow is very important for you. I feel like your pal is kind of a pretty spiritual pal maybe, and a spiritual group, and there's guidance coming through for you, and your guides are saying that, like, they want you to listen up to the instincts inside of you, because your instinctual guidance may take you further than just what your eyes can see. There may be something that you're not fully seeing right now, but your instincts know, and it allows you to move forward in different ways. Okay, underneath that we have number 26, insight. This is a very interesting pile, but yeah, there's something about you knowing what you need to do. And when you tap into your instincts and follow your instincts, you move in a different way. I can't really fully describe that kind of energy with words, but it's like an act of trust, really. Like, sometimes our instincts tell us to, like, oh, go this way, or go talk to this person, and we have no idea why we're doing that. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, logically it doesn't make sense, but then when we follow our instincts, we may find out, like, oh, talking to that person open up this new opportunity, or putting my website on this place allowed me to get connected to this person. And sometimes we may feel called to, like, go to an event, and we thought that, let's say, going to this event is going to bring us all of these new customers, but in the end we don't even get a single customer when we enter the event. And yet what happens unexpectedly is that we meet new partnerships, for instance, or we meet our soulmate at the event. Like, something unexpected happens when we follow our instincts. So it's that kind of energy coming forward for you. So your guides are really saying, now is the time to follow your instincts, pile number pile number 2. Okay, so let's get some other cards for you to see how you can embrace this new version of yourself. Cut the deck here, and we have number 30, divine timing. There is just something about your pile. It's like you're onto something, pile number 2. And so trust your feelings, trust that guidance. And if something doesn't work out now, if you've been trying to do something and it's not working, trust that divine timing is at work. And maybe if you've been spinning your wheels and it's just not working, just relax. Maybe the time is for you to relax now and just enjoy and sit back and take care of yourself, do some self-care. And maybe that's all that needs to be done, who knows? But there is divine timing at work in your journey at this point in time. Underneath the deck, we have number 25, sexual energy. I feel that this, well, first of all, 25, sexual energy, it relates to our co-creation abilities. The second chakra. And it relates to how we work with other people as well. How harmonized we are with the different people in our lives to co-create together with them. So there's something about following your instincts, and maybe that's why that whole partnership and like going to an event example came up too. It's like some kind of new partnership is coming through for you in this journey of your rebirth, and it's helping you to get somewhere. It's opening some kind of doors for you, and that's why there's this divine timing at work, because it's not just you anymore. It's concerning other people coming in to help you, and you willing to accept that partnership and accept that help as well. And I think you are. It's just like, what is it? What on earth is this partnership? But there's an element of trust that things will come through at the time that they should come through. Okay, so I feel that your power, is pretty spiritual, and you guys are pretty spiritually connected, and sitting with this unknown is okay for you. Like, I don't feel that there's a lot of anxiety that is coming through despite a lot of these uncertainties. But yeah, some kind of new partnership maybe on the works. So let us take a look at the next deck here. We have Anandalite, sorry. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anandalite and Lemon Balm, integrating energies, awakening, transitioning. Ooh, we have the Void. I think I spoke about the Void just now. Okay, so we have Pneumite and the Black Dahlia, the Void, ego shattering, soul fragments, emptying. I like how there's like this light and there's this dark. Like, look at these two cards. They kind of look like yin and yang going on here. Underneath the deck, we have Pearl and Larima, let go, surrender, release, patterns and triggers, Pleiades. Pile number 1 got this as well, so I don't know. I think you guys may feel drawn to pile number 1. First of all, there's an element of like where you are right now. A pause is needed because we're at an integration phase. When we are planting seeds, it kind of feels like you're looking at the field of seeds, and you've planted your entire field, and you've watered the field, you've put fertilizer, you've made sure that there's enough shade so that there's the temperature's right, you've taken care of the land, you have plowed the land, everything, you've done everything you can, and now it's just waiting for the seeds to sprout. Of course, you're doing some maintenance work by watering the soil and the seeds when needed, just doing everyday stuff to make sure that the seeds are well taken care of. But on your plot of land, you've done all of the groundwork, and now it's about waiting for the seeds to sprout. And so that's why I think you guys are in this relaxation phase. Spirit is saying, yup, you can put down your huge rake, the rake that you've been raking your land with, and relax for a bit because you're doing maintenance work. So in this downtime of relaxation, it's about integrating energies, integrating all of the lessons you've learned, integrating the things that you have gathered, and preparing for your harvest. Well, you are so used to toiling the land that maybe, you're not fully accustomed to what needs to be done in the harvest. And maybe you're not sure because this is your first harvest. Like, do I need to get a new tractor, for instance? I'm using the field as an analogy, but of course use it, apply it to your instance. Like, what kind of tools do you need for the harvest? What kind of do you need to wash the vegetables after you get them out of the ground? Do you need to pack them? Do you need to get a new logo to advertise your new shiny vegetables from your organic farm, for instance? Like, what are some things you need to do to prepare for the harvest? And I think that's why sitting in the void and being comfortable in this sort of unknown is necessary now, because it gives you insights about, yeah, I don't know this territory of the harvest, but I'm going to trust my instincts. And maybe my instincts are telling me that I need to create a website. All right, let me do it. I don't know why I need a website. I don't know why an organic farmer would need to advertise, but I'm going to trust. And maybe because I'm putting myself on social media, I attract people who would have otherwise not known about me, So look at it from that perspective. I think you're kind of just sitting in this in-between space, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Okay, pile number 2. Let us take a look at the next deck for you here. See what other guidance is coming through. We have surrender to the divine. Yeah. This is a moment of surrendering, guys. And you're good enough. Pile number 1 got this card too, so I don't know. I feel like the signs have come up a few times that you may feel called to and drawn to it. Oh wait, underneath the deck, a fiery climax approaches. Full moon in Aries. Yeah. This climax feels like the harvest season that you've been praying for. It's coming, but the seeds naturally need their time to sprout, and everything happens in divine timing. We cannot force a seed that isn't sprouted to sprout, and we need to wait for the right time when the crops are in the kind of like the right size, right before we pluck them out of the ground. If we pluck them too prematurely, then we're not going to get the kind of results that we want from the harvest. So this is in some element a level of waiting that's going on. This is that season of your harvest. So surrender to the divine. I think it feels just a smidge of that anxiety from the unknown. Like, I wouldn't even call it anxiety. It's just like, oh my god, when's it gonna happen kind of like thing going on here. But you guys, I feel, are spiritually connected, and you know how to just surrender to this moment. And Spirit is also coming through to say that you are good enough. Don't compare yourself with the farmer across the street who has harvested his stuff many, many times and is like, living in this huge house and has this huge greenhouse for his crops and has all of these resources. And here you are working on this small farm. Like, no, don't compare yourself to somebody else's version of success. Walk your own path and focus on your harvest. Okay, so yeah, we are gonna take some final cards here from the butterfly deck because it's a story of rebirth and fitting to have some butterfly messages come through, is what I thought. So let us shuffle the cards. And see here, so your first butterfly is this really beautiful green one. And it says, I am doing so well on my life journey. I am proud of myself. Yeah, you should be very proud of yourself for all of the great work that you've done. You've been toiling your land and you gotta give yourself a pat on the back. Okay. Ooh, the next card is, the door that closes for me is the wrong door. The door that opens for me is the right door. So this is about your instincts, trusting your instincts, trusting the guidance that you get, knowing how to read the signs of what your instincts are telling you. So if you go to some place and there's rejection, yeah, there's that saying, rejection is God's protection. Well, move on and see what other paths open and where it leads you. This is very much just trusting yourself as you enter into the unknown. And I didn't show you the butterfly, but it's this really cute one with the purple flower. And underneath the deck, we have, wow, I give myself permission to switch off my mind and have some fun. Yeah, this again is coming through of like just chill, enjoy, drink some hot tea as you wait for your crops to harvest. I'm thinking of Avatar. I don't know why. Uncle Iroh, who's with his jasmine tea that just suddenly came out. But yeah, just enjoy and give yourself permission to have fun. So it's this butterfly here. Just to bring through that connection to the butterflies that are guiding us in this reading. So yeah, pile number 2, that is what I see for you and your story of your rebirth. Thank you so very much for tuning in. And before I end, I just want to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming through with these amazing messages and wisdom. And I hope to see you guys in a future video. Bye! Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading all about the story of your rebirth. So we're going to start off the first part of the reading with our Hanafuda cards, and the cards are going to show us your current energy as well as your energy after your rebirth. But before we dive in, I just want to talk a little bit about the card that you chose at the start, which is the Pine with Crane card. And this card it symbolizes longevity and a long-term kind of energy. With the pine being an evergreen tree, there's an element of you wanting to transform your life in a very long-lasting manner. And you're creating these strong foundations for this lasting change to take effect, where, for instance, it's about manifesting the kind of financial abundance where you don't have to worry about money so much, or not even at all, for the rest of your life. Or there's an aspect of even manifesting a life partner, a soulmate, because the crane as well talks about longevity, it talks about marital harmony, because the cranes are birds that mate for life. So there is an element of you wanting to create that long-term kind of thing in your life, be it a soulmate that is a long-term relationship, or a kind of purpose in your life that takes root for the long term. And yeah, this is a very purposeful kind of energy going on here, because this really feels like something that you are strongly and deeply connected to. And I think you have been building up this vision for yourself. So without further ado, there's some sage ashes on my little mat here. So without further ado, let us take a look at your current energy. So we're going to shuffle the Hanafuda cards here to take a look. So let me just cut the deck here and we shall see. So the first card is the Suzuki grass in reverse. And ooh, you have the peony and the butterfly. The butterfly, of course, which symbolizes that metamorphosis, the transformation, and very much aligned with whatever we're talking about in this reading. Okay, underneath the deck, wow, I feel like every single pile has gotten a bush clover card so far. So the bush clover is definitely trying to bring forth a collective kind of message. So since we're on it, let's talk about it. So the bush clover talks about deep relaxation. And in that, it also talks about the feminine aspect of manifestation, which is one that attracts rather than, the masculine, which is about doing and putting things out there, but about, that that creating, producing kind of role, whereas the feminine is one that attracts in what it wants. It manifests in that way. With this card in reverse, there's an element here of something feeling stuck, where it's like, I'm not quite sure why I can't seem to manifest this thing into my life. It feels like I am doing a lot of things right, quote unquote right, so to speak, but something is just not happening. So let's talk about it. First of all, there's a kind of interesting sort of dichotomy of energy between the two cards here. The first one is about the peony and the butterfly, where peony and butterfly, this card in the upright position, talks about a very prosperous, auspicious kind of energy. And it feels like you guys are honestly doing pretty well now in your life. There may be an aspect of your life where you feel pretty successful. You feel like you're doing quite well in that space. And yet, we have the Suzuki grass card that says that there's another aspect of your life which you're feeling is lacking. And that's the thing that you really want to transform, because you're feeling like, yeah, I have this success in this area, but I don't feel truly fulfilled and complete in a way, because I don't have this thing. And this is what you want. The Suzuki grass, or otherwise known as pampas grass or silver grass, is a grass that has a very abundant quality to it. So it talks about our harvest, about what we want to manifest as well. So there's something here in your current energy where it's like, almost like, how sometimes people talk about it. I mean, we hear this kind of like tropes or these kind of stories in the movies where there's this person who is wealthy and doing very well in their career, but they don't have people around them. And there's this one area of their lives that is lacking. And I'm not saying that has to be you, but that is the kind of feeling that I'm getting here. Okay, so let us shuffle our cards here and see what is the energy of your rebirthed version of yourself. Ooh, a lot of these cards are falling out. I don't take fallouts. I tend to just prefer to cut and shuffle and cut the deck. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's see here. We have, the maple and the tanzaku in the upright position. And again, the bush clover and the boar in reverse. So again, another message about that deep relaxation and the feminine aspect of manifestation. And this card is the highest point card in the suit. The card that we saw earlier on was a court card. This is the highest point card. So there's something that your rebirth, your future version of yourself wants to tell you about relaxing and not stressing out too much about how you're getting there, and simply just trusting the process. Underneath the deck, we have the iris and the 8-planked bridge in reverse. So one thing that this card talks about is a feeling of grief and how we journey away from this grief, how we process the emotions, we heal from the past and move on into a different future. The card upright looks like this, and there is a bridge here, and it talks about how we cross over to the other side and welcome a new life for ourselves. And I think that for some of you at this point of time in your life, there's a feeling of how you may be going through some kind of loss in your life. And it is that loss, maybe it's what this Suzuki grass card is talking about. It's a feeling like I was building up this successful ideal version of my life, and I wasn't expecting this loss to come up, and it was such an unexpected loss. And it's hard for you to even wrap your head around why this had to happen, and like what exactly was it that you needed to learn from this experience, kind of. And there's an element here where your future self is telling you that you're kind of like ruminating and running around in circles in this story here, and it's time to move on. It's time to move on and invite back the flow into your life. The maple talks about flow because the maple leaves change with the seasons, and they represent that flow of energy that is unstoppable. It is a strong force of nature, and when this flow happens, we can't tell the maple trees to stop turning their leaves red. You know, it's that kind of force of nature that is beckoning you to move forward. And your future self is in flow. Your future self is in alignment. We see this card of flow here. And the tanzaku in the middle here is a slip of paper that in Japan, these cards are of Japanese origin, by the way, if you missed the introduction. The tanzaku is a piece of paper where people would write their wishes on it, and then they would hang it up on a bamboo tree to pray for that wish to come true. And I feel that your rebirth version of yourself is telling you that your dreams are safe. You are safe to speak about them, to dream about them, to tell spirit and source what you desire in your heart. It almost feels like at this point of time in your life, there's a part of you that is afraid to even dream because of the loss that you experienced. And this has been happening for all the pals, by the way. Like this part of the reading, I was expecting it more to be like how your future self, how your rebirth version of yourself is going to look like. But then we're getting a lot more like guidance from your future self about how you can connect to them even more and feel connected to that vision. So your future self is in flow, and they're saying that you can invite the flow into your life right now, right here, right now. And that's how you begin to transition into this new chapter of your life. You do it by turning the page. You know, you have to turn the page. There's a part of you that may be unwilling to turn the page, may be stuck in feeling sad and resentful or ashamed of the things that happen. But no, you know, that's not what your future self feels. There's not a feeling of like them of like you doing something wrong or having did anything wrong. It's knowing that that was a part of your journey and your process. Now the feminine energy is coming through again, and I think you're being called to nourish yourself more right now, and in the future you will get more of that in your life. I think now there may be some aspects of your well-being that you may be neglecting a little bit because maybe you're too caught up in, well, I wouldn't even use the word caught up, but you're occupied with one aspect of your life that's taking up a lot of your time and energy, and there's a feeling of neglecting your well-being in some ways. Maybe you're not eating very well, or your sleep is not very it's not very high quality, or maybe you're not getting enough exercise or movement in your body, stuff like that. And taking care of your body and just tapping into your feminine energy is something that is coming through in your future version, where you really get to enjoy life and feel deserving of a good life, you know, not punishing yourself anymore, and feeling that you are worthy of this love and this life that you want to have. Okay, so yeah, let us take a look at the oracle cards next to see what guidance is coming through for how you can ease into this new chapter of your life. And I also want to point out that these two cards of your rebirth version of yourself, the energy is a little bit different from the previous two decks. It almost feels like you're still in the journey, in this rebirth version of yourself. Like, obviously, even for the other two pals, like when we get to the rebirth version, yes, you're still, on this planet and you still have a path to walk. It's not like you are, at the finish line and it's the end of the story. Of course, everyone is still on their path, but for you, it feels like this isn't even the end of the story. Like this is midway to an even grander future. But first of all, your rebirth version of yourself is like, this is like a pit stop to it. It's like, first of all, you need to dare to dream that this future is possible. Okay, so let us shuffle our cards here to see what guidance is coming through to help you to ease into this future. So let me cut the deck. And we have, first of all, number 37, cultivation. And number 15, revelation. Underneath the deck, number 24, wholeness. So you are whole, pile number 3. Even where you are right now, where you're feeling like, maybe you've gone through some kind of failure, or you felt like you had some kind of loss in your life, maybe a loss of relationship, maybe it's a breakup that you experienced. For some of you, I'm even hearing it's like divorce, where it was a huge ordeal to go through, and you may be feeling that you failed in some way, and Spirit is saying that, well, the shame that you feel is there's a lot of punishing and self-punishment that is attached to it. And when you strip that away, you'll see that this experience doesn't make you lesser than anything. Doesn't make you lesser than being a married person. It doesn't make you lesser than being a millionaire, for instance. If, whatever it is that you've been desiring, whoever you are now is not lesser than that. And this message of worth has been coming up in every single pile in different ways, where, we in ourselves right now, where we haven't manifested the full vision of our rebirth version, are as worthy as the rebirth version of ourselves. And this was an example that I brought up in one of the earlier piles, which I feel is coming up for your pile as well, which is that, and I'm going to use the example of marriage because I feel that your pile, I think, has quite a number of people that are thinking of a relationship kind of outcome. And it's like, in future, if or when you get married again, let's say if you were divorced, your married version of yourself is not gonna look at the divorced version of you and go, oh my god, what a loser. Because this version of you who's going through this divorce, this loss, is still holding up the fort, still going to work every day, still showing up for their family and their friends, and being as present to life as they possibly can despite going through a huge change. How can you look down on you right now who's going through so much and still being there for people in your lives? I think this is where you got to give yourself more credit than you do, and know that the idealized version of yourself is not going to look back and think like you are some kind of a loser or you're lesser than them because they accomplished more or whatever. Like, you're not going to put yourself down that way, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should see how great of a job you're doing right now and how much progress you're making, really. So these two cards, I think, revelation, you're seeing into what this really is. What is this loss? What is this episode or this season of my life teaching me, and what am I learning from it? Because every single thing and person and situation we meet in life is in some ways a lesson for us, right? Like, it doesn't have to be a huge karmic or spiritual lesson, but there's always something to learn at the very least from every single person. And for those of you in this pile who have gone through a more significant kind of situation in your life, it could very well be a significant spiritual lesson that you may be learning, and you are going through this revelation of what exactly am I what exactly is the light in this situation? Like, look at this Ganesha looking at the light here. Like, amidst all of this darkness and this pain, what is the light? Because there is light in the darkness and the pain. This darkness that you're going through right now is awakening something. It's creating the grounds, the conditions for your awakening, you know. And there's a feeling of just, oh, you know, take a deep breath and cultivating yourself at this time, not worrying too much about the future, which I think is what you're doing anyway, and just cultivating your life and living your life to the fullest and really experiencing life in all of its aspects. This is what I'm getting from this cultivation card. And I think the more time or the more space you give yourself to just be in this experiential mode, the more clarity you get. And it's not about the length of time more than it is about the quality of how you're participating and engaging in this season of your life. Like, no matter, of course, easier said than done, but no matter how challenging it is, participating wholeheartedly in the lessons and the emotions, in the opportunities as well, because it's not just a sea of darkness and nothing else. There's good in this situation, which is a very, you know, it allows you to see the duality of life, and you're participating fully in everything. I also want to say that happiness is on the horizon for you. For those of you who have been praying for like joy and new life in your life, the pine and crane card also talks about happiness. So this card represents the theme of your rebirth, and there is a huge wave of happiness available or coming to you in the future. Okay, so that's a sort of spirit wanted to assure you that that is coming. Okay, so it's not gonna be sad and sad and sad forever. All right, so let us draw a card here. Ooh. See what else is coming through for you. Oh, we were just talking about it. 42 joy. Yeah, joy is coming for you. That sounded so ominous, like joy is coming for you. But yeah, you know, joy is entering into your life, and Spirit is also saying that you have permission to feel happy now. You don't have to punish yourself anymore. You don't have to mentally poke and gnaw at your wounds. It's time to take care of them and allow them to heal and feel joy in your life again. Underneath the deck, we have number 40, retreat. Yeah, you know, in this season of your life, it's about retreating into your safe space, your comfort zone, your own little sanctuary, and just really taking care of yourself. It's kind of like that hermit energy of just being with yourself for a moment and enjoying that solitude. There's comfort in that. Okay, so let's see what else is coming through. Pile number 3. We have here Petalite, Cosmic Downloads, Higher Heart Healing, See the Bigger Picture. Yeah. There is some kind of bigger picture that we are looking at here. Sometimes when we go through some situations in life, and I'm referring to the negative situations in life, we may be just looking at it and going like, why? Like, why on earth did that need to happen to me? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't see why life needed to throw me this level of pain and destruction and agony, you know. But as we go through it, as we begin to walk further and further away from the picture, we begin to see the big picture, you know. So when we were inside the picture, inside the situation, we're only seeing things from close up. And as you walk further and further away, as you journey away into your future, and then when you look back, you're gonna see the bigger picture, and that brings you healing. Okay, The next card is rewriting. Gold and apple rewriting. Queen quotes her story, healing distortion. And I'm really drawn to this healing distortion word because there is a new perspective that's coming through for you that is allowing you to rewrite and heal parts of your sort of lens and perspective of the story that was distorted. Yeah, I do, that's the best word that I can use, but it, I feel that it was distorted in a way because of the perspective that you have, which is at least, you know, during the time when you were inside of that situation, you may have had a more limited perspective, and it's only natural. You know, I say this without any judgment, but because when we're within you know the situation, it's easy to get caught up in all of the drama and the pain, and parts of our conclusions that we draw from the situation may be incomplete. You know, we're making conclusions and making sort of judgments about the situation based on incomplete information, and that is what causes the distortion. And now, as you gain perspective, you're giving yourself a chance to rewrite your story as well. Maybe you thought that you're somebody who is unworthy of love, that nobody's going to love you ever again. And as you heal and transform and invite the joy into your life, you know and you see that you are so very much worthy of love, more than you can ever imagine. Underneath the deck, we have Grandmother, Moonstone, Cycles of Change, Illuminating Boundaries and New Beginnings. Yeah. You know, I feel that there's a very strong feminine energy nourishing and protecting you. And it could be your spirit guides that are coming through, a feminine spirit guide that's coming through, and they are taking care of you in this phase of your life and helping you to ease into this new cycle of change where you get new beginnings and where you set boundaries, where you don't get sucked up into the past again and again and again. You allow yourself to close the chapter and move on. So that's where the boundaries come in, okay? So let us look at our next deck here, see what else is coming through for pile number 3 for their rebirth. And first card we have is Prosperity Lies Ahead, New Moon in Taurus. Okay, I kind of feel that this pile is pretty prosperous. You guys give me a very prosperous kind of energy, like you are go-getters and you are people that like quite career focused and career driven. So this may be good news to you that there is that good news coming through for you in the future. And we also have Work Through Your Fears, New Moon in Scorpio. Yeah, fears about, oh God, I'm hearing fears of abandonment. So some of you may feel that you may be abandoned by the people that you love or the people who love you. Working through your fears about the future of for some reason I'm hearing like loneliness and the feeling of being isolated, and maybe part of the journey of where you are right now is in embracing that solitude and learning to be comfortable in your own company. Underneath the deck, we have Be Bold and Make the First Move, Cardinal Moon. Okay, so if there's something that you want to do about your life right now, it's safe and time to make the first move and take that action. What I am seeing is that you have been waiting for some kind of sign, maybe, it's almost like waiting for somebody to give you permission before you move on. You may be telling yourself, like, I can't move on from that episode in my life until X, Y, and Z happens. Maybe you think that, I can't allow myself to feel abundant and prosperous until I make X amount of money. Or I can't allow myself to think that I am worthy of love until there is somebody who wants to date me, and Spirit is saying, like, well, you call the shots, not the external circumstances. And I know it's so easy, it's easier said than done to feel loved when you're alone, or to feel abundant when you don't have anything in your bank account, but there's a level of giving yourself permission to feel successful, to feel connected to the rebirth version of yourself, and giving yourself therefore a deeper level of permission and allowing for that abundance and the love that you've been seeking to enter your life. Because if you're constantly holding the gates and waiting, that is the energy that we're telling the universe that we're still waiting, that I'm still waiting and I'm still holding on to the keys here. I don't want to open the doors yet until something happens. And that's what the universe returns you with. So whatever state you're in right now, and boy, this is like honestly easier said than done. I really do empathize and relate, but allowing yourself to feel all of the emotions of your ideal future is critical at this juncture. Okay, and it's about being bold and making that first move. Like, think about the different choices you may make if you allow yourself to feel abundant right now. Like, would you then be more bold in the way that you do business, for instance? Would you be more bold in telling your company that you would like a raise? Like, there may be different ways you begin to engage with the world that then allows you to create and manifest that reality that you've been waiting for. But if you're constantly sitting in that lack mentality, so I'm gonna take some butterfly affirmation cards, because this reading is all about our rebirth, and the butterfly really represents that metamorphosis, transformation, rebirth very nicely. So I thought I would take some messages from the butterfly spirit. So let's see here. We have this card, this beautiful butterfly, and it says, "The universe has something very special in store for me." I love that for you. And I'm hearing that your guys are saying you may want to kind of save this quote in your phone or something so that you can refer to it and feel the love from the universe. Okay, the next card is this one with this cute little butterfly, and it says, "I am valuable. Many people are thankful for my presence in their lives." That may be something that you have been wanting to hear for a long time. And yeah, you are valuable, and people are grateful that you are showing up for them. Ooh, underneath the deck, we have, "Forgiveness helps me to let go and move on with my life, opening up to new and loving experiences." Forgiveness, forgiving yourself, forgiving the people in your life, and closing the chapter on the pain that took place in the past. So pile number 3, this is what I see for your reading. Thank you very much for tuning in. Before we end, I would just like to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming through with these amazing messages and wisdom. And I hope to see you guys in a future reading. Bye. Hello, pile number 4, and welcome to the reading about the story of your rebirth. So the first part of the reading, we are going to use our Hanafuda cards, and I have my little deck here, and we're going to take a look at your current energy to see what you're going through now. And then we're also going to do a read of what your future self, your rebirth version of yourself, would like to see. And I sort of intended for this like rebirth version of your reading to be more of like an energy or a read into like what it's gonna look like. But so far, for all of the piles, it has been more of like your future self coming in to give like drops of wisdom and just telling you like, hey, this is how you can get there. This is what you need to do. So yeah, we are just gonna go with the flow and see what's coming through for this pile. So before we jump into the current energy, I want to talk about the cherry blossom and curtain card, which we drew at the very start of the reading. So this card in itself is very synchronistic, because when I'm filming this reading, we are in March, And it doesn't matter when you watch the video, it really just says that there is a divine synchronicity with regards to time. There's a divine timing at work here for your pal. Um, March relates to springtime, and spring is when things are growing, new life is sprouting, and it's very much, that you are emerging from that winter season of your life and coming into a new life, which very, very apt for this reading about your rebirth. So regardless of when you are watching this reading, you may feel that some kind of a winter season of your life is approaching its end, and you're beginning to enter a new space, a new season where things feel brighter, things feel alive, and the energies are moving again, coming out of hibernation and into a growth phase in your life. Okay, so let us look into your current energy now to see what is, what situation, what sort of energy you're in. Ooh, okay. Let me cut the deck here. And let's see. We're going to take 2 cards. So the first card is Chrysanthemum in the Sake Cup. Very cool. And the second, oh boy. The second card is the Bush Clover and the Boar. And I tell you, every single pal has had a card from Bush Clover so far. It's wild. There's a collective message about the Bush Clover coming through here. So underneath the deck, we have another Chrysanthemum card. Okay. You are sitting in I feel like you guys are sitting in your power now. And that's coming through from the Chrysanthemum, because the Chrysanthemum is one that is a flower that relates to our lineage, our DNA, our family. And it brings forward the essence of who we are, what innate gifts and qualities we were born with, that kind of feeling. And I feel that on some level, there's a certain element of you guys feeling in flow, that you're getting things going. Things are working out in your life in to a certain extent, and you're feeling pretty powerful. Now, then we have Chrysanthemum in reverse. So this Chrysanthemum is the highest point card in the Chrysanthemum suit. So there's a certain manifestation of your essence, of your being. I feel that maybe you guys are walking your purpose, and you're feeling that, it's a pretty meaningful day-to-day routine that you've got going on. And yet underneath the deck, there is a Chrysanthemum in reverse. What I'm hearing from this particular card is stress. It feels kind of stressful, the place that you're in now. And it's like you may be asking yourself, like, when can I stop? Like, do I have to keep churning the wheels constantly? Do I need to keep putting out more work and more work and more work? When is this gonna reach a sort of a point where it's not gonna be so difficult? Maybe you guys are business owners and you're in that building phase of the business where it's like, yeah, things are going, but they're kind of like going in a steady pace, and you're trying to break through to the next level of growth where you get to experience a whole different level of business, new sort of ways of making money that don't have to be so like, you have to earn every single coin that you get right now, versus wanting to break through to the next level of your business where you can scale. It's that kind of feeling coming through here. So maybe that's why you feel that you're in the winter season of your life, even though it's productive. It's like, oh, this part of the business or the journey is so tough. There's a feeling of really wanting to relax. The bush clover is a flower that talks about relaxation, and the boar brings through relaxation too. On a deeper level, I also feel that you guys are wanting to be more authentic, maybe with your friends and family, with your customers, your clients, that kind of thing. It's like there's a part of you that is almost like hiding your true power and your true potential, Maybe because you don't want to step on people's toes, you don't want to divulge too much to the point that they may feel uncomfortable around you about the size of your vision, maybe. And there's a part of you that's tired of having to hide so much of yourself away and almost feeling like you just want to give all of this up. There's a feeling like I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm so tired and sick of all of this. I just want to be quote unquote normal for once. I want to be like everyone else. There's this kind of feeling going on here. The spirit, there was a guidance coming through, right? The cherry blossom in the curtain card talks about boundaries as well. When we are building something new in our lives, it is a wise thing. It may be a wise thing to not tell everybody about this vision that we have, because sometimes we attract, sabotagey kind of energies when we tell people. And I think you know that very well, which is why you have been keeping silent about the bigger things that you want to achieve. But it's uncomfortable because it's like there isn't really anyone who maybe understands you on that deeper level, who sees what you see. And yeah, you crave connection. So you're churning a lot, you're spinning your wheels, and you're doing a lot of great work, but it feels stressful, and there's a part of you that wants to switch up this routine, to relax, to take care of yourself, and maybe your rebirth, no, I'm not going to make guesses yet, or I'm not going to read into it yet. We'll allow your rebirth self to talk about it. So let us draw some cards about what your rebirth energy is going to look like. So let's see here. The first card, oh, another chrysanthemum card. And this is the first card in the suit of chrysanthemum. So this was the highest point card. And then when we come to your rebirth version, we have the first card. There's some kind of endings inside here and some kind of new beginnings. And I'm going to talk about it, so just hang on. The next card we have is Plum Blossom and the Bush Warbler in reverse. Underneath the deck, we have the Pine and the Crane in reverse. Okay. The thing about your pile is that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far highest point cards in your reading. And the highest point cards are major energies coming through. There's some kind of manifestation or some kind of huge process that you're going through. And I think you're somebody who carries a lot of responsibility. You are shouldering a lot of duties, and there's a big sense of importance and purpose to this rebirth that you're trying to manifest, which is why I think a lot of these high point cards are coming through. First of all, coming back to the chrysanthemum, this is the chrysanthemum in the first position. And what this card is telling me is that you are awakening a different kind of power in your life. And to reach this different level in your life requires a different kind of ball game. And I think you've been trying to unlock what that means. Like, what do I need to do differently to scale this part of my life, to enjoy more happiness? I feel that this pile is very career focused. It's very much career, business, finance focused. And like relationships is almost like an afterthought for you guys. But in your new rebirth version, relationships are beginning to take more and more of a center stage, because you're awakening a new gifts in your life where it doesn't have to be so difficult to earn every single coin. Your business is moving more in a flow state. I don't really want to say autopilot, but autopilot is the word that's coming through. Basically, you have a good flow of services and how to, like, products or services and how to fulfill them, how to get more customers, and the whole cycle of the business is quite well oiled. So it then allows you to do something to bring it to the next level. So you're awakening some ability in that way. And something about cultivating relationships is coming through. Your rebirth version of yourself is saying that as you get to that point, you begin to create more space to cultivate relationships that you may not have been able to do so in the past because your focus was on building something else. So social life maybe took a back seat in the past, and now you're coming back to it. The plum blossom and the bush warbler is a flower. Well, at least the plum blossom is a flower. The bush warbler is the bird in the middle. The plum blossom is a flower that blooms during the winter time. So your pal is quite cyclical in that as you are emerging out of a winter, another part of your life is like catching up to a new emergence as well. So I hope that makes sense. It's like you resolved one area of your life and then you managed to kind of like come to awaken another winter season, another spring season for another part of your life. And that other part is relationships, because the plum blossom is a flower that blooms during the winter, and it talks about hope. It talks about the fact that spring is coming and the long winter is ending. And the plum blossom and bush warbler are two sort of two, I guess, what do you call it, like two parts of nature that are really well harmonized. Like the bird and this flower, they go very well together, and so they represent good relationships. And I feel that there may be a part of you that feels a little bit like hope, not hopeless, but like dreadful, or in a state of despair almost, that there aren't really good relationships that you can rely on, and that make you feel like quite down on yourself. And there's some kind of lesson that you are going through there in allowing and accepting the fact that yeah, you made some choices in the past, that certain things were priority and certain things were not priority, and that is how it is. And it's not too late for you to cultivate new relationships now. The fact that the bush warbler and plum blossom card is showing up is saying that don't give up hope, basically, because you can ignite these new supportive and healthy relationships into your life. We also have the pine and crane card in reverse underneath the deck, and the crane is a bird that mates for life. This is the red-crowned crane. So there's an element of marital harmony, soulmates, and longevity with this card here. So you may be really trying to create a long-term relationship with a person, be that a soulmate, romantic relationship, or maybe you just want to have long-term friendships in your life. Regardless, Spirit is saying to not give up hope, even if you don't find that person right away. That doesn't mean that that person's never going to show up. It takes time. It takes time to build, just as you have built this great foundation of success for yourself. Relationships take time to build, and we need to cultivate and invest in them so that they can grow. So yeah, that is what your rebirth self wants you to know. So let us shuffle some cards here. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that our rebirth version is coming through with guidance and basically telling you, like, almost like giving you a head start. It's like, hey, where you are now, maybe you want to even begin cultivating good relationships with people. It starts by just, meeting up with old friends maybe, or networking a bit more, or putting yourself out there and making kind of like friendship type connections with people. Maybe you even want to start doing that now. You don't have to wait till you get into this state or this stage of your life. You can do it right here and begin planting the seeds. So we are gonna shuffle and look at oracle cards to take a look at some guidance about how you can ease into this rebirth version of yourself. So the very first card is number 15, Revelation. And number 42, Achievement. Okay. Underneath the deck, we have number 26, Insight. This is so interesting because one of the piles got this card, and I believe it was pile number 3 that got this card. So there's some kind of synchronicity in the different piles here, that there are some parallels, but not entirely the same, to be honest. So the guidance is that what I'm hearing when I look at this card for some reason is you can trust yourself. You can trust your instincts and trust your inner wisdom to show you what you need to know, to show you what kind of wisdom is, to show you the inner wisdom that is inside of you. And you can trust that guidance from within. I think maybe you got into a point where you kind of felt a little bit incapable in some sense. I don't even know if that's the right word to use, but you felt that you weren't the right person for the job anymore, that kind of feeling, and maybe your goals and your dreams have gotten too big for you. But there is a deeper wisdom within you that you can really trust, and you can always come back to, and you have the answers inside of you to be able to get to this future version of you. So keep going. And we have achievement, of course, number 42, achievement. Both cards are 6, by the way, so 6 may be a number that you are drawn to, and also 6 is a number of balance and also a lucky number in that sense. So achievement, you are a successful, high achieving person, and you can rely on your past successes to give you important information about how you can replicate that kind of success, because I think you have the principles of success. Like, there are some principles that don't really change with different situations, such as the principle of perseverance, for say. Like, those kind of things we can apply accordingly to the different situations that we find ourselves in, and you have that knowledge. So look within. The answers are within you. As we see here, number 26, insight. You do have the insight within you to get to this future version. So where you may have been feeling not so confident, that may be something to let go of, because I'm seeing that actually you're very capable and you can be quite confident of your abilities. Okay, so let us see the next card we have here is number 6 again. Wow. Again we have the number 6. Okay, hang on. Oh my god, underneath the deck is 42, joy, also number 6. Okay, pile number 4. First of all, okay, that now there's a different message coming through here with the 6 coming in so many times. So the fact that this number keeps showing up is also telling of a certain pattern, in that maybe you have been also trying to hit this next goal of yours with the same kind of past experience over and over again. So for instance, if you made your first success using this formula, let's say, so you have been trying to reach your next goal with the same formula, with the same steps, with the exact same ingredients. And Spirit is saying that you have been repeating and repeating and kind of like saturating your cake with this 6 energy, whatever that is. A lot of salt, a lot of chocolate chips, a lot of flour, and it's too much. It's too much. So there's a discernment here coming through that, yes, your formula works. It worked very, very well at that time in the past. And your formula still works. It's just that you got to apply it to a different situation now. So the formula of making a cake, let's say it's, there are basic elements of a cake. It needs flour, it needs flour, it needs flour, it needs baking powder, it needs sugar. I'm not a baker, I'm just making this up. There are basic elements of it, but are you trying to make a cheesecake now? Or are you trying to make a chiffon cake? Or are you trying to make a chocolate cake? You know, different types of cake you make, although they're made of the same basic ingredients, there are tweaks to it. So you have to adapt your formula to the new situation that you're going through, and that is the guidance here. So instead of coming through with a lot of stress and worry, I think when you feel the joy and the passion for what you do, the revelation and the insights may come through naturally. I think it's now when you're in a very like tensed up and stressful state that it clouds your vision almost. And it's when you're in this passion and when you remember why you even set out to do the things that you do, that joyous feeling actually brings through the inspiration for you. So, discernment, what is needed right now for you? You have the answers within, and it's all about discerning what needs to be tweaked to your formula to get to the outcome that you want. And of course, then you need to be very clear about the outcome, right? So you need to know exactly what kind of cake you're baking so that you can tweak the formula. And the thing is, you're not a novice baker, so you have to remember that you're not somebody who doesn't know how to bake. You are a baker. So you need to rely on your instincts, rely on your common sense, rely on your knowledge of baking to tweak the recipe. I hope that makes sense. This is strange or maybe not so strange analogy that's coming through. So let's see here. The next card for you is Aquamarine and White Lily, go with the flow. Divine Mother, Shekinah, flow and detach. Yeah, go with the flow. I think you're trying too hard to get to this place. And when we are in that stressful and trying too hard kind of state, we may sort of like forcefully try to punch through the wall. But maybe there's a way around. Maybe you don't have to force your way or bulldoze down this wall. Maybe just taking a few steps around the corner and there's a whole door that you can just walk right through. So go with the flow. Trust your knowledge, your instincts, your common sense, and it's going to guide you. When you detach yourself from the outcome, maybe that will allow you to see better as well. And oftentimes that does help, when we're not so focused on trying to, let's say, punch down the wall, right? Like if we keep thinking that I need to punch down this wall, I need to get through this wall. But what if we sort of just change the mindset a little bit? Is that, okay, instead of tackling this wall, what I actually need is to get to the other side. And then that opens up possibilities because maybe there's another way. Maybe getting to the other side doesn't involve punching down the wall. But if we're so attached to punching down the wall, then we'll keep doing it and find that it hurts. It hurts really bad because our fists are so painful. Oh, the next card is Fairies Orders Rest. Replenish and release guilt. Yeah, you've been working really hard. You've been going through a lot of intense moments and you need to nourish yourself. Your cup needs to pour back into you for a moment. And this rest is going to allow you to see the world in different light and find solutions that you had otherwise not thought of, perhaps, during this moment of rest. Underneath the deck, we have Anandalite and Lemon Balm, integrating energies, awakening, transitioning. So in this moment of rest, it allows you to integrate because we can't always be running and doing. And, even if we're exercising, there's we need to allow the body to rest and recuperate and then come back to it. Because if we're training the same spot every single day, it's gonna really hurt. We're gonna get injured, if we keep pushing ourselves and trying to it's like maybe you want to grow your biceps and every single day you go to the gym, you work on your arms, and you're like, why am I not seeing the muscles yet? And so you come back and you continue to work on your arms and your arms are like so tired and so sore, but you're like, no, I want to keep going. And the rest helps your muscles to regenerate and come back stronger. So you gotta take that, you gotta give that to yourself. It's an important part of the growth process. Okay. Um, let's take a look at these next cards here. Ooh. I don't tend to take cards that fall out that way, so I like to just cut the deck and take it from there. So let's see. I'm not even sure if you could see those cards. I think you could, right? So anyway, we have prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. You have nothing to worry about. Pile number 4. You know, you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna find your way to this rebirth version of yourself. So yeah, you can rest. You can take some time off, blow off some steam, and then come back to the problem. Ooh, we then have be bold and make the first move. Cardinal moon. Interesting. Underneath the deck, we have emotions are running high. Super moon. Okay. So the super moon card is like a huge yes energy. It's like, yeah, whatever you want is coming through to you. And that's why the emotions are running high. And you may be feeling that a lot of emotions as well right now, where it's either a lot of intensity and a lot of things are going on and you're feeling a lot. And that's part and parcel of it. If there's some kind of idea that seems very new and innovative and it's like, whoa, nobody has really tried that before, maybe you want to just move ahead with it and be bold and make that first move, and you may really set a new trend and be a trendsetter in that sense. And of course, if we are talking about business, which is what I have been referring to in this pile. But of course, you may not be in business, but while this card does say be bold and make the first move, do also check in with your own guidance, because business involves taking risk, and yeah, you need to check in with yourself. I think you know to do that. And to not just look at a reading and go off on it. Yeah, be sure to check in with your numbers, do all of that groundwork, and make sure that everything is well before you take any huge risks. Just a small disclaimer from me. But yeah, I do see that you're gonna get to your rebirth version. You're gonna get there. You're gonna figure it out. So trust the process. You're in it. So that spring, that new life is coming through for you. It's a huge confirmation of that. Okay, so finally we're gonna draw some butterfly cards, because I just felt that the butterflies are very fitting for this particular reading about rebirth. So let's see what the butterfly spirit animal might want to say to us today. The first card we have is this beautiful butterfly, and it is the card that says, the door that closes for me is the wrong door, the door that opens for me is the right door. So trust the process. There may be a lot of things that don't make sense to you, but you're in a new phase, and know that you are the baker. You are not like, how do I put it, like, you are somebody who has made a lot of cakes, and you are in the driver's seat. You are the baker, and you're not the ingredient, you're not the machine. You're the one operating the machine. So there is a lot more trust that you can give to yourself than you give yourself credit for. Hope that makes sense. The next card is, I am doing so well on my life journey. I am proud of myself. Yeah, there's a lot that you can be proud of, a lot of achievements that you can really give yourself a huge pat on the back for. So congratulate yourself for all of the successes that you've achieved. I think that on a certain level, you haven't really congratulated yourself a lot. So this is your reminder to do that. Oh boy. And then we have here, underneath the deck, I give myself permission to switch off my mind and have some fun. Yeah, you need that rest. You need some fun in your life. And that fun and that rest is going to invigorate new ideas and solutions for you. So it's not something unproductive. If you have some kind of aversion to rest, this is a huge reminder from spirit to take it. You need it. Okay, so pile number 4, this is what I see for your reading. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. I would like to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming through with these amazing messages and wisdom, and I hope to see you guys in a future reading. Bye!